Welcome to Forward Facing. I'm Andee Hastings.
I'm Mali Shadmehry,
We are the founding partners of Hastings Shadmehry Family Law.
an Atlanta-based law firm with a deep commitment to our clients, our community, and our team, whom we call the Wolf Pack.
We are lawyers,
We are also business owners,
partners,
bosses.
and best friends. Every day we work towards self-growth and mutual development.
Our 4 decades of combined experience gives us a distinct perspective on work, business, and how to navigate some of life's toughest situations.
We want to pass on what we have learned, introduce you to like-minded guests, and share our philosophies on staying positive and moving forward. Forward Facing is your inspiration to evolve.
Hello, and welcome to Forward Facing. I'm Mali Shadmehry,
I'm Andee Hastings.
and today you get the two of us. No guests, just Mali and Andee. So you're welcome for that. We're so happy to have this chat with you guys today. We're going to be talking about our 3 uniques. They are 3 concepts and sort of ideals. They're 3 pillars to how we run our firm and how we give services to our clients. These are 3 mechanisms and thought processes that we employ across our legal teams and as leaders and as individuals throughout our lives, really. So we're going to teach you about those 3 uniques here in just a few minutes. But let's first check in. How's life going, Andee? What's been going on in your world?
I know you know this, but just kind of crazy, one thing after another. We've got trials stacking up. We've got a jury trial coming up soon, which are, for everyone out there, are not common in domestic cases. I used to do them all the time as a prosecutor, but they're just infrequent. And so, we're spending time preparing for that. And, just everything is kind of popping at the moment, so to speak. So it's good. No complaints, universe. No complaints.
Yeah.
How about you?
Similar, just plugging along, work-wise, watching our firm grow and implementing new things. We're breaking into new office space, so that's fun. Andee, you and your team are really, the ones running that, but it's nice to get to participate and see us grow and watch our legal teams thrive. I've just been real hands-on with the people that I oversee and some of our clients, working on a couple special cases for my own clients and keeping my hands busy with all of that. Just being a dog mom. I've got a surgery coming up for Nixie, my Frenchie. I'm wearing my Frenchie ring today, in case you're interested. We also are featuring the wolf ring. Are you wearing yours?
Yes.
So she's going to have the Boaz surgery to help her breathe. Yeah. So I'm a nervous mom. I'm going to be having a surgery in the next couple months, so I'll report more on that later. It's a cosmetic one, and it's not my face, so don't worry. You'll still get to see this. But yeah, going to do that. So I'll share a little bit about that journey when we go for it. Yeah. So let's see, going out of town this weekend for a bodybuilding related thing. So I'm excited for that. Going to be in Delaware. I've never been there. So get to sample a new area. Scared about the airports.
I know.
Navigating that, but going to make it happen. Just working out in the gym. I'm bulking. So I'm lifting heavy and eating a lot of food and just enjoying being a meathead with no competition in the future. Just this is about having great habits and being balanced and taking care of yourself and growing in all the ways, whether that's muscles, whatever it is, brain, all the things. So yeah, other than that, just kind of struggling through the pollen. I've been bitching about, I think spring is just gross. I'm an optimistic person. My birthday's in the spring, Iranian New Year, Nowruz, happy Nowruz to those who celebrate. My dad's from Iran, so we celebrate a lot of that in my family, and it's supposed to be like an embarkation into a new year is spring, and everything's blooming. And I'm like, no, it's cold and hot at the same time. You just don't know. There's weird storms and wind, and the wind is spreading pollen. We're just breathing in pollen, and I'm gross. So that's my thoughts on spring.
You're not gross.
I mean, what's your favorite season?
Fall.
Fall, yeah,
100%.
You are a fall girl. And I love summer, fall, and winter for different reasons. I guess I have to say fall too, though. I love the holidays, the weather. So
it's cozy time.
We got a couple more seasons before we get there. Gonna have summer. I like summer next. It goes fall, summer, winter, then spring for me.
Summer is my least.
Yeah, that's not your vibe. Andee takes pristine care of her skin.
I don't.
So
I don't.
you do though. You do. You walk when we go on walks outside. You use an umbrella or a hat.
UF umbrella.
Yeah, to keep your skin preserved.
Yeah. Well, also the sun hates me. That's really it. We're in a very hate relationship.
Oh, and meanwhile, I have had years of sun damage and leathery skin. So cool.
Yeah, no.
With that, y'all want to hear about concierge care? For real. We want to talk through this topic. We've kind of gotten our socializing out of the way for you. So when we started to revamp our firm a few years ago, that's when we really started to intentionally make a culture and build a culture that would live inside these walls, but also be felt by our clients. And we came up with core values and a vision that's shared by all. And out of all of this, we came up with 3 uniques. And these are 3 sort of mechanisms, mindsets, qualities. They're 3 qualities that we felt were the most important. That A, we provide within the confines of our office who we are as employers and employees. And then also 3 qualities that our clients can know that they're going to get from us and see throughout every sort of aspect of their case. And our 3 uniques that we came up with, and it really was a matter of like me, you, Jill, our director of operations, and Nicole, our integrator. That's our leadership team. Really putting our heads together with the help of some other coaches, Brian being one of them, and just figuring out first what was at the core of mine and your hearts, don't you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It wasn't easy. I mean, we've come up with this and we've developed it over time, and it's taken on different shapes at different times, but it's always a work in progress, and it has literally taken a village to really home in on, first we come up with the ideas of the things that are important to us, and then we want to capture it in a phrase that will resonate with everyone so that, we can remind ourselves of these things that are, really at the core of what we do. So, it's taken a lot of time and energy, but I think it's worth it.
Absolutely. And our 3 uniques are, and we're going to define them for you one by one because they're just fun and important concepts, I think, to keep in your back pocket in life about how you can carry yourself. And it's what we represent. And the 3 uniques are concierge care, humble confidence, and chestnut checkers. So we'll get into those one by one. But I think one of the things that has been surprising for me as we've built things is, first of all, it starts with an idea between leadership. And then as leaders, we have to live these uniques and these core values that we've come up with. And then it's our job to make sure that our whole team, our whole organization understands these concepts and starts living by them. And if the leader doesn't fully embrace it, the team cannot. And it did it. It's kind of like catching fire, but not fast. It's like, and usually people, just like anyone who's learning a new skill or a new mindset, people have to hear and see these things multiple times before it starts to stick. And I think we experience that in our culture here, like having different people in the firm at different times, and maybe it didn't stick. And as we've continued to grow as a group and an organization, the people that these core values has stuck in, it's now continues to like grow even more quickly when new people join, because we now have a culture of attorneys and staff that do live by this, don't you think?
Truly. I mean, every single day. And they work so hard to achieve these uniques.
Right? And I think most of our people, if not all, naturally embody these uniques. What the key has been is emphasizing that and highlighting it and celebrating when we do see it. And at the end of the day, who does this benefit? Well, it's not only just those at the firm so that we can have a healthy, driven environment, but it is our clients and those that we serve.
Yes.
So these were things that were very important to us, that when our clients work with us, they are going to get these 3 qualities and many more. But these 3 things are a guarantee and a promise. So let's get into them.
So Mali, what's concierge care?
Concierge care. So this is the notion that you are going to get your hand held every step of the way in a way that is specific to your needs in your case. I always say this is not cookie cutter what you're getting here. This is, I see you, I hear you, I am here to make your life easier. I enjoy and do best with clients that are high intensity. They have intricate needs. They're usually business owners or top level executives. These are people, doctors, lawyers, things like that. Not that I'll represent anyone who needs me and is a good fit. But if I want to use my chops to the best of my ability and the challenging cases that I like a client that says, I need you to create a masterpiece, cater it to me, and I need you to drive it and tell me what's happening. And so basically, I, as the client, don't have to do anything other than grow as a person, get through my pain, and learn to trust you. Concierge care is that notion that you are going to get specific service catered to your specific needs when you need them. Before you're even having to ask, what's going on in my matter, I've already told you. Here's the plan. Here's where we are today. Here's this. Here's that. So that you have in your head a safe system, that you know there's someone doing all the things, and it's higher end level work. I think clients at different types of firms can feel like they're just a number. Yes. They're just money coming into a firm, and that is the last thing we want here. We want an experience. As silly as it sounds, where it came from, I remember talking about at the beginning, was I want us to be the spa of family law. When you get a divorce, you are taken care of. Everything's done with style, with finesse, and it's done in calibration with what works for your vibe, your personal brand, as we pick up on the nuances of the case.
I think one of the things to really remember, too, one of the goals, at least in my mind, of concierge care being one of our 3 uniques is this whole concept of being forward-facing. And part of it is just helping people be able to focus on their future and try to minimize as much as possible. There's only so much that we can do. This is a stressful time, absolutely, no doubt. But to the extent that we can minimize that stress in the ways that we know how as lawyers, I think that that's a big part of our goal and always has been. It's important to us to reduce anxiety, increase understanding, and in doing that, reducing our clients' stress.
And it's this notion of the hand-holding, and it's tailoring our advice around the specific needs of this case, and it'll feed into our next sort of 3 unique, the chestnut checkers, but it's treating someone's life with so much respect as though it was our own, and maybe even treating it with more respect and attention to detail than that person has even given it themselves. And this is what I'm talking about when it comes to our firm and us as leaders. In order for us to be able to deliver concierge care to clients, I felt like I had to step back and take a more concierge care approach to how I take care of myself. It impacted all of my life. And it started begging questions within me of, okay, Mali, if you know you're behind on these medical appointments, if you know these are the maintenance things as human beings we should be doing, why are you putting those things off when you're preaching this big game of taking care of people? It really starts at you. And then we started to learn the importance of our people in this office. We've all got issues. You've got to take care of yourself so we can go serve people. And so concierge care sort of became not only how we care for ourselves, our teammates, how we expect this firm to be run, how we expect all of our work product to go out with a level of perfection because people trust us with that. I think that at the end of the day, if the firm doesn't have this in our pocket and we treat ourselves with this level of care, we can't give it to clients. And I think that's something that sets this firm apart. We spend a lot of time developing our professionals so they can provide this very high-end level of service, attention to detail, leave no stone unturned, cater it to the exact situation at hand. Again, not cookie cutter. And yeah, that is something that makes our firm more expensive as well.
It can, for sure.
Yeah. And that's for a certain type of client. So yeah, so that's concierge care. So we'll talk about our number 2, chestnut checkers. Andee, talk to us about that one.
So it's kind of what it sounds like, but the idea behind it is that we take a very deliberate approach to our cases and for the benefit of our clients. We have a strategy in place. We're not just shooting from the hip. When we handle situations on the daily as well as when we're in court, I think that it's a matter of when we talk about strategy, we're anticipating who we're dealing with. Always know your audience. I say that to people all the time. We know who we're dealing with opposing counsel. We know who we're dealing with the judge. We understand our client's strengths and weaknesses, and we develop strategies that take all of that into account and proceed in a very methodical and deliberate way to achieve the absolute best results we possibly can for our clients. And it can manifest in so many different ways. I tell people all the time, I am not a lawyer, and I don't think anybody in this firm is, that just shows up with a pad of paper and a pen and a smile in court. And there are some lawyers that do that. And that, no judgment. But best believe when we show up and we know all of our evidence inside and out, and we know how it's going to be received by the judge, or have a pretty good idea, and we've analyzed how our opposing counsel is going to respond to different things, we're playing on a different level. And, sometimes you get into court and people see us with our exhibit binders and everything is very organized. And it it plays a mind game with them just before we've even said anything.
Oh, yeah.
So it does take time. It does take energy and focus, but it's something that we dedicate ourselves to for the benefit of our clients and their families.
I think it's a huge thing that sets our firm apart. I think that the best cases are cases that have been thought through from start to finish from day one when that case was taken. I think that many, many, many lawyers and law firms do not put enough emphasis on planning strategy and front-loading the case with the right kind of strategy. If you get it right in the beginning and you know how to now, you're going to have to course correct as things come up. But you're going to be able to more swiftly do that and cheaply do that. You're going to save costs in the long run with a lawyer that can organize very well from the beginning where this is going to go. And that comes with experience, and why you need someone with family law experience to set up a lay of the land, keep an open mindset that, listen, this is the approach, this is the strategy, whether it's aggressive, whether it's more laid back, whatever that purposeful approach is, it's in place. The whole team's aware. Our teams are very communicative, and I think there's many firms that are not, and it's very cookie-cutter type work. It's very check boxes. We're going to do this, that, but it's not catered to what could come next. Let's think not just 2 steps in advance. Let's think 10 steps in advance. Let's start researching these issues now, and there's a safe way to do that where you're staying within the confines of what the client can afford and keeping in mind what the results are that they want. And as you need to course correct and hurdles come up during every case that we couldn't have anticipated, if you have done the chestnut checkers approach from the beginning, you're much more efficiently able to switch lanes when you need to and be real nimble in the case. And so I think it's twofold, this concept. It's not only how we try our cases, but it's how we run our firm, how we manage our teams, how we oversee our teams too. I think one of the biggest challenges that family law attorneys face is staying balanced and organized in approaching the preparation of all of their cases, the logistics.
Yes.
How do you do chestnut checkers in 40 cases at a time? And it comes to good habits and setting the standard from the very beginning and having a team that's all rowing in the same direction at the same rate of speed. So we work with our teams. Every team is different, but on how we prepare, the rules that we have in place at this firm, guidelines that we have for our lawyers, so that they're always constantly preparing so that you don't have this last minute push to the finish line and you get stuck in a snowball of being overwhelmed. I mean, how many consultations have we had with clients that say, I have a lawyer, apparently they're supposed to be pretty good, but I don't hear from them. I feel that we are getting railroaded because we're not addressing any of the concerns that keep coming up. Or we had a court hearing and I just felt very underwhelmed by the performance. I mean, don't you think we get 50% of consultations a year, if not a little more?
I would say that's probably a reasonable percentage. It's not unusual that people people will come to us expressing those concerns.
Agreed. And what's interesting to me is usually I'll say, I'll see sometimes it really is someone has really dropped the ball. A lot of times it's just a practice style thing.
Absolutely.
It's what that client is really wanting is someone who is doing exactly what we're saying, chess, not checkers. Can you do the thinking, explain it to me, and be ready for when the other side responds before they even respond, and tell me what to anticipate and tell me what's the anticipated response when that happens? All of these things, for me, if I were the client, I would need to hear that. I need to hear, what does this landscape look like? Where is this possibly headed? What's best case? What's worst case? And I don't need to just hear that at the beginning. I need to hear that every week as things are progressing or however that case is progressing. So I think that this is a really important one for us. Even in courtroom execution, like you're talking about, trial is the easiest one for people to go to when we talk about chess, not checkers, because that's when we perform and we're outsmarting and I already know what they think their evidence is going to be. And I already know how to respond to that. And I already know which evidence to bring up to crush whatever it is they think that whatever the word is, that gun. What is that word? That phrase?
Smoking gun.
Smoking gun, thank you. They think I've got the smoking gun, and I'm like, bitch, I've seen that 4 years ago, and I'm going to stomp you with 4 other pieces of evidence that just make that seem like nothing. And too many times, lawyers don't do that kind of work. But it's not just trial. It's the everyday approaches that get us to that trial and hopefully to a resolution before trial. So, yeah, I think Andee is one of the best ones in the game at that, working quietly and coming in hot.
Oh, that's the sweetest thing. Well, that seems to segue nicely into our next one, which is humble confidence. What is humble confidence, Mali?
Humble confidence is the lawyer's ability to walk into the courtroom and exude power, professionalism, and confidence, but have the mindset of, I've prepared like I'm going to lose, but I think like I'm going to win. It is keeping a mindset of, yeah, you have power and control and you're prepared, but you better be on top of this, not cocky. You better be looking out for any possible weakness, and you better be all ears and ready to be humbled by a judge. You cannot go into this profession, especially in family law, with this bravado, and there are lawyers that do that. And at the end of the day, you need to be keeping in your heart and on your mind that these are people's lives in your hands. And humble confidence means, like I just said, it's preparing like you're going to lose, but thinking and acting like you're going to win. It is consistently keeping in your peripherals where are the weak points, and being open to learning. Because I think this profession, and really any profession, if you think you've learned it all and there's just nothing else you can learn, you are in the wrong place, especially in the law and in family law. You will learn something new every day. You will potentially get something wrong that you have to correct every day. That is part of what we do. And when you're a powerful attorney and one that's not scared of taking aggressive approaches, the humble confidence has to come into play. Because if you're going to talk a big game and ask the judge to do some very serious things, yeah, we win on that. But it has come from relentless preparation and being humbled along the way. Like, oh, you want this? This approach isn't going to work. But if we do this, that, and this, and that, and this, maybe we can get there. And it's having the patience and really building cases. We walk in there and make it look easy. And I think that's something that needs to be noted, is that the people that really do make it look easy and they have that professionalism, they have that humble confidence. They have worked day in and day out to get there. And it wasn't just on your case. It was for many years learning the profession and being humbled along the way and never getting so hard on the edges that you think you have nothing else to learn. You're offended when the client wants to ask questions. You're offended when a judge isn't quite following. No, sweetie, you got to be able to, if the judge is questioning you a little bit on where you're going with something, oh my God, there's a tactic for that. And it comes from humility. Yes. It's very much, Your Honor, thank you so much. And it's about knowing in your head how to get to where you want to go despite the fact finder's resistance to it. And let me ease you into it another way. That comes from humble confidence. What do you think?
I completely agree. And there are so many ways that humble confidence and chestnut checkers relate to one another because, being willing to hear other people, whether or not it's a judge who may not be completely buying it, Like, you have to be more invested in trying to get the best possible outcome than you are in your own ego in order to do that. And you need to hear what they're saying and understand it's not what you think is the most effective, it's what they think is the most effective. And you getting that information to them in the way that they need it, whether it's the client, the judge, whomever it is, that's what matters. That's the humble part of humble confidence. And, you know, just like you said, never assuming that you know everything or that you've got this in the bag. One of my long-time mentors, who I've talked about before, Cotter, taught me when I was not even yet a lawyer. I was working in the DA's office. And one of the things he said that I think ties into humble confidence, he said, every time you walk into a courtroom, when you sit down in that chair, you sit on the edge of the chair. You don't lean back. You don't sprawl out. You're not taking a nap. Because if you're doing that, you need to just go. You're done. You're not ready to jump on the next thing that could possibly happen. You're not sufficiently tuned in, reading the room, understanding, you know, that what you need to do. And I think it ties in with that too, because, you know, when you, like you said, prepare like you're going to lose but have the confidence of winning, it's not that we're prepared to lose. It's we prepare in such a way that we have contemplated every possible result, and we are fending against, you know, the potential negative results, because honestly, that potential is in every single case. And so it's just a very different way, I think. This is one of the uniques that I think is truly unique to our firm and to our folks, because, you know, there are all kinds of lawyers out there, and no judgment. You know, different people are attracted to different characteristics. Different clients are attracted to different types of lawyers, and some just roll in and they're all bravado. But that can be picked apart.
Right.
If you prepare and or listening, hearing the room.
To me, in family law, you cannot exhibit humble confidence if you're not very prepared. Or else you're coming in and you're insecure, and that is going to lead to a presentation that is nervous. It's not true to yourself. It's not true to the court, to your client. And bravado oftentimes, you know, fades away the importance of evidence and the real, it's smoke and mirrors. It's because I can perform in court, let's just focus on that. And I really believe, and I think that our lawyers, our firm is unique. That's the word.
I knew that was what you were trying to get to.
Lord. We are unique in that lawyers are human beings as well. And if we are having problems in our personal lives that are going to impact our ability to prepare timely, we have individual insecurities just like any other human being that seeps into our workflow, anxiety, all of that. Humble confidence in our firm is used not only in the courtroom and with clients, but it's amongst one another. And it's when, if I have a senior lawyer here that's guiding a younger lawyer and they're really struggling, that senior lawyer has to have the emotional maturity to help that person identify what's going on internally. Let's get the focus back on work. But in order to do that, what's going on with you? And let's work together. And it's conversations even down to like, you've hurt my feelings because of this. Now let's talk about it. Our lawyers here exhibit humble confidence every day, and our staff, in having to address interpersonal issues, preparation issues. When we prepare these huge trials like we do, and these exorbitant approaches and very detail-oriented things and hundreds of exhibits, you better believe our teams are stressed. And so on the home front for family law, to us, it became even more important that our teams exhibit humble confidence to one another, especially the leaders in the firm. And that means showing that you're human and being open to feedback and saying, hey, how can I do better for you? Because I'm always a student and I'm learning as well. And when there's an issue, I'm going to address it with you in a safe way so that we can grow together from this and it doesn't have to be a punishment. And I do not think that many law firms have it that way. I don't think people invest in it like we do. We do a lot of things. What are some ways that we work to instill humble confidence across our firm?
Well, we have regular meetings with our teams, and we have quarterly meetings with our teams, and we are constantly checking in to figure out where people are, where can we support each other, what are we doing great, what maybe do we have room for improvement on. Like we do that every single day, and it's a lot of work, but I think that at the end of the day, it's absolutely worth it. And it's like you said earlier, it makes us more whole people. You know, I've certainly worked in places and have been to places where you show up, you punch a clock, and you go home, and that's it. And there's just kind of no real connection. Everybody's kind of siloed. And that's a way of doing things. That is the opposite of how we do it. And in challenging each other, to be more open, to communicate more effectively, we're also challenging ourselves to level up. And that's the point of all of these.
And I think that we take things a step further in our advocacy that other firms do not. And that is setting the tone for leadership in the case even. And how can we resolve issues that might not be all the issues, but calm things down to better our position as we keep going. It does take a big lawyer to do that and someone that doesn't take things personally. And I know that because I used to do that. I used to be able to just fly right in and slam the hammer down and say, I'll see you in court if you don't agree with me. And it worked. It worked. But as you grow, you realize you can get a lot more by this humble confidence approach and fully investigating the landscape and what may be going on in someone else's head. Because you don't know everything. You can be intuitive, but you're really missing out if you can't slow down and realize you're a human too. And whatever God-given talent you have, that's excellent. But there's so much more that goes into it. So, yeah. So, yes, those are our 3 uniques. We hope you've enjoyed this. These are just 3 things that we want our firm to carry forever, and that if you as a client come to us, you're going to get those 3 qualities out of all of us. From the time you call our firm and talk to our intake team, when you work with our operations team, when you come in for your consultation, when you meet your lawyer for the first time, and when they take over and they start to nurture you throughout your case, you'll meet your paralegal. All of our people are going to demonstrate these 3 qualities, and I can say that with confidence.
And definitely when you're looking for an attorney, decide kind of how we approached this and came up with our 3 uniques. Decide what's most important to you.
Yeah.
And focus on that.
Yep.
When you're deciding who is the best fit as far as attorneys, because that's all that matters, is that you feel comfortable and confident with the person that you choose.
That's right. Because they are going to be impacting the rest of your life and your children's lives. So be careful and make sure that you're working with people that are fully invested in themselves as individuals and are going to carry that through to you. So with that, we're going to go into our last little segment, and that is just talking about how Andee and I have been forward-facing in the past couple weeks. We always say, like, how have you been forward-facing? How have you evolved in the past couple weeks since we last talked?
So I talked about this a little while ago, and the whole idea that everything, work, life, is a marathon. It's not a sprint. And I keep finding myself turning that prism again and again, and I've done it definitely in the last week, several days, where I just have to slow down and remind myself it's one foot in front of the other. I can do this. I will get it done. I can do this. I will get it done. But trying to sprint through life and sprint through everything is just not effective. And so it's just really honing that concept and being aware of it. I think more than anything, it's just having it front of mind and, reminding myself to take breaths and do all the things so that I can do all the things.
Yeah, I love that.
How about you? How have you evolved, Mali?
It's really just holding the fort for me in the past couple weeks. Like being someone that really thrives on challenges and big things coming up, challenges, whether it's court, bodybuilding competition. Before that, it was running and half marathons, a marathon, everything since childhood, always needing something big coming that can keep challenging me. I don't like feeling like there's a ceiling in my life as a human. I do have some big events coming up, life events and work events. And I have had to really, I'm not always the best at settling down and focusing on the small details to get me there. And I have in the past couple of weeks had to do that to execute some really big events in the legal world and some really important things to us, and some other things. And I feel that I've just been checking the right boxes every day, keeping habits intact, and it applies in bodybuilding for me. You come from going very, very lean, and you have to watch yourself gain the weight back, and you have more freedom. And so I'm learning to like really embrace all the freedom and have all my going out to eat with friends and those sort of things. My friends are like, "Oh, you can eat now? Okay, good. Let's do this." People always think I'm in prep or what. I'm like, trust me, you will know if I'm in prep. It's not right now. And oddly, as a woman too, our bodies in society are something that they're always on the table, if that makes sense. People are looking, and it's in the gym as well. And so I sort of have to have some armor on to understand that, like, you're going to look different. This is just a shell, and it's all in an effort to be a healthy individual and have fun in the sport that you like. And my body is very different at 160 pounds today as it was 160 pounds a year ago because I've recomposed muscle mass. So it's very weird. Like bodybuilding, when you're in the prep, you watch your body go really skinny. Then you watch yourself get bigger, and it is a similar experience both times, except now you just are eating more, so you're processing better mentally. So I've had to really just stay steadfast in my habits, and things might look different, but I'm going with the right amount of intensity, all in an effort to get us to these big, fun, shiny events and all of that. So that's where my brain's been. Just hold the fort. Do the habits, keep your eye on the prize. You might feel a little bored getting the things done, but that is part of the game. And so it's just been that season for me. But something about spring, just hate the weather and checking boxes. Having fun while we're doing it.
You're probably the only person that is like spring.
But at the end of the day, I think all this, in my mind, where it comes back to is being surrounded by the right people. Just at any stage in the game, we've got our people. We've got them here and outside of this office, and it's a fun ride.
It sure is.
So yeah, that's all we got for you guys today. Thank you so much for joining us. Follow us on all our socials at Forward Facing.